In honor of National Women's History Month, I'm going to talk about the upbringing and downfall of America's most notorious female serial killer, Aileen Wuornos. Wuornos was born in Michigan on February 19, 1956, to Lori and Britta Wuornos. They gave birth to Keith Wuornos and Aileen Wuornos, and Keith is Aileen's older brother. Britta was a teen mother when she gave birth to Aileen. Both Lori and Britta were abusive. Britta was an alcohol abuser, and Lori was physically and sexually abusive. Later in her life, she claimed that she was sexually assaulted by both Lori and her brother Keith, although it was never proven. Due to her sexual precocity, she fell pregnant in March 23rd, 1971, and she gave birth to a baby boy that she immediately aborted. Later that year, Britta died from liver failure, and she ran away shortly after that. A week after she ran away, she was pulled over for a DUI and firing a weapon from inside of a car. After she did her time in the jail, she married Louis Fell, a yacht club owner, and she moved to Florida. She seemed to be getting better, but Fell called off the wedding because of another assault charge, and she was arrested again. Later that year, her brother Keith died of esophagus cancer, which began Aileen's spiral into madness. In 1986, she met Tyria Moore at a Daytona gay bar, and they dated for 4 years. While they were dating, her first victim emerged, Richard Mallory. He picked up Aileen on November 30th, 1989. She claimed that he raped her, and she shot him 3 times with a .22 caliber pistol. She then stole his Cadillac and went for a joyride until the cops found his Cadillac later on. Her second victim was David Spears. He was found on June 1st, 1990. They found his body in Citrus, Florida. He was shot 6 times by Wuornos, and he was reported missing since May 19th. Her third victim was Charles Cascaden. He was shot 9 times, and he was found on June 6th, 1990. Her fourth victim was Peter Sims. He was found on June 7th, 1990, and later on, the police investigated and found prints that eventually matched to Tyria and Aileen, although Tyria had nothing to do with the murder. Her fifth victim was Eugene Burris. He was a truck driver. He was found on August 30th, 1990, and he was shot twice in the back. Her sixth victim was Dick Humphreys. He was the chief of police in Marion County, Florida. He was found September 11th, 1990, and he was shot 7 times. Her seventh and final victim was Walter Antonio. He was a delivery driver, and he was missing since the 12th of November, and he was shot 3 times in the back and 1 in the back of the head. Police began to track down Wuornos to Port Orange, Florida, and they arrested her on January 9th, 1991. Police then went to find Tyria Moore because she was in contact with Wuornos around the time of the killings. They tracked her down to Pittston, Pennsylvania. The police worked with Moore, and they got Wuornos to confess to 6 murders on January 16th in 1991. Soon after, the trials began on January 14th, 1992. Just a week later, on January of 1992, the jury took only 12 hours to decide that she was guilty on all charges, and she was sentenced to 4 life sentences of first-degree murder. Through most of 1992 and 1993, the trials pushed on, and they charged Wuornos with 6 death sentences, 1 for each that she confessed to murdering. In 2001, Wuornos' fate looked like it was going to take a turn for the better. Aileen Prale adopted Wuornos legally, although never gained full custody because of her death sentences. She said that she was called by God to try to change this woman's life, although she never got the chance. On October 9th, 2002, Wuornos was executed due to lethal injection. So, Wuornos had a very, very rough childhood, an abusive mother and father, and a sexually abusive brother. She seemed to get better, but then took a turn for the worse when she murdered her first victim. In the words of Aileen Wuornos, I'd like to say that I'm sailing with the rock, and I'll be back like Independence Day with Jesus, June 6th, like the movie Big Mothership and all. Still to this day, those eerie words ring through the public in the eyes of many prosecutors.